All right, so awesome, incredible 8th grade historians. Here is what you need to be successful in class today. All right, you need your notebook and your binder, okay? Now, in your notebook and your binder, you have some very key and important information which will be very helpful in the very near future. Okay. The first thing we're going to do is review these 4 questions which you were to answer in class the last time we met, right? So you should have these answers already. But if you don't, we're going to review it in class. So if you're missing any of these answers, please add them in. That's a big hint. Add them in. It will be helpful later. I think I've said that twice, haven't I?
Yes.
All right, so after we review these questions, then what we're going to do is review the video you watched yesterday. Now, the video you watched yesterday was really intriguing and interesting. Now, it was purely hypothetical. It was basically a creation scientist's interpretation of what may have happened during the flood account. Now, we know what did happen based on God's word, but are we told absolutely everything? No. So there's a lot of speculation, isn't there, as to what else may have happened. So through the video, you were able to watch someone's interpretation or speculation on what may have happened. I love that video.
It makes a lot of sense.
It does. It does make a lot of sense. Now, as a scientist as well, it's very intriguing. It's kind of a mixture of science and history, isn't it? And you get into that a lot. In science, we know the observable. But science tries to deal with the non-observable, and we call that historical science. Right? Bless you. Now, historical science, we take the evidence and we try to see how it fits. But the reality is, all scientists do that, irregardless of their worldview. So, all scientists take fossils and the fossil record and all that rock strata you see lined up and stacked up. They take that evidence and they have interpretations of it. Well, you got to see one interpretation of that in your video yesterday, didn't you? And then you were to watch the video and write a summary.
Yeah.
And you notice from your blue sheet that you get an opportunity to share that summary with your classmates today. And everyone is just thrilled about that, right?
Totally.
All right, so you will get an opportunity and chance to share that with your peers. Yes.
I just took bullet points.
Okay, all right. That's fine. That's fine.
Yeah, I don't really write very well when it comes to summaries.
Don't worry.
Just,
Don't sweat.
rewrite the entire script.
Don't sweat it. I'm confident you guys are going to do well. In fact, there's a little, well, you'll find out. Now, after we share our summaries on our video, then we're going to switch gears, and I have brought in a fossil collection. This is my personal fossil collection, and it looks at multiple fossils found right here in the good old state of Arkansas. And here's a poster of a field guide that you're going to use. What you'll do is get to examine samples of fossils and then use this guide to see what kind of fossil do you have in your hand. Now, these were all found in Arkansas. I found many of them. Some of them I bought and purchased. Some of them are expensive and worth some money, so be very, very careful with them, okay?
There's so many fossils.
But you'll get a chance to see many fossils in class today. Then you'll get to identify what kind of fossil it is, and then see, does that fossil fit into catastrophism, or does it fit into uniformitarianism? We'll see, okay? So you kind of get to work with that and see what you think. Now then, after we do the fossil examination, then we have an incredible part of class, a part I love. I love quizzing you.
No.
Because it shows me what is in your mind. It shows me what you've been learning. So right here is a one-page quiz that you will complete in class. And for those of you viewing online at home, you will complete it using Google Classroom. Now, on this quiz, you do get to use your history notebooks and your history binder. So you get to use both. So the good news is, even if this scares you, if you've been taking excellent and superior notes, you are going to do incredible. Okay? So that's the last thing we'll do, is finish this quiz in class. All right. And like I said, those of you joining us virtually, you will do the quiz at home from Google Classroom and then submit that to me. All right. Y'all ready? Yes. What's your question? Oh, I heard you earlier. I know it works. All right.
You don't know if my arm works.
So let's review this to begin with. First of all, what in the world is this ginormous word, catastrophism? Now it sounds like catastrophe, which is a really big clue. So what is catastrophism? It's a geological view of Earth's history. Yeah, right here.
I wrote the idea that one or more catastrophes are primarily responsible for Earth's geological features.
All right, so the idea that mass Earth catastrophes happened and they influenced geology, the rock strata, the fossil record, and we can learn about Earth's history through them, right? All right. Now then, let's go to number 2, because number 2 is slightly different from catastrophism. You see, there's neo-catastrophism. So this was kind of difficult. It was a little bit hard, but in the reading, you should have found how catastrophism and neo-catastrophism are slightly different. Who found that? Who has an answer? Yes?
So neo-catastrophism is pretty much like they took uniformism and just added a couple of catastrophes. Like it wasn't all created by catastrophes.
Okay. So neo-catastrophism does include catastrophes, right? But not necessarily a biblical global flood. Okay? So the big difference is neo-catastrophism does not allow for the flood found in Genesis, whereas just simple catastrophism does allow for the biblical flood recorded in Genesis that we've been looking into. So, going back to your questions here. Who was it? Who came up with catastrophism? Who believed that Earth's history, we were kind of a young Earth, and that the layers of the rock strata were created quickly because of mass catastrophes and specifically the biblical flood? Who was that?
George Cuvier.
Yes, George's Cuvier, right?
What?
Now make sure his name is in your notes.
Why did you speak like that for that?
Well,
Why?
he's French. Sorry, I do that. I throw in accents. I'm goofy, but I like being goofy.
Cuvier.
All right, so George's Cuvier. Sorry, I did mispronounce it.
Cuvier.
So he was French. Handsome fellow, isn't he? You don't think so. He's a handsome guy.
Okay. Whatever you
Maybe
say.
not. Maybe not. Yes.
Was George's a popular name in France? Like,
Must have been.
S?
Maybe just a unique name. I'm not
Why
sure.
was it George's? Not
Say
George.
George.
George's.
I bet his buddies just called him George.
I would be like,
So make sure his name is in your notes, okay? You will see that again later. Hint.
how do you say his name?
George
Cuvier.
Cuvier.
Georges Cuvier. French.
That sounds
French.
like something from Beauty and the Beast.
What?
What?
Was he the beauty or the beast? All right.
Neither.
So number 4,
Neither.
the last question here. Which view, this is pretty simple, but which view, catastrophism or uniformitarianism, allows for global flood? Everyone.
Catastrophism.
Catastrophism, right? All right, so today, yes, we have merged history and science. We've merged historical science with history and seen how catastrophism and uniformitarianism impact scientists' interpretations. All right, well, you ready to switch gears?
No.
Not really.
If you remember, the next thing we're going to do is share our summaries of the awesome video we got to watch
Can we
yesterday.
skip this?
My
Fast forward.
mouth fell off.
Wait now.
Mr. Whitaker, I'll go first.
Well, I can't see it. It is behind the
Mr.
mask.
Whitaker.
So it must have been falling off inside the mask, right?
Yeah.
Mr. Whitaker, I'll go first.
You'll go first? I'll tell you what, I'll give you an option. Here it is. Y'all ready?
Yeah.
we can either have everyone, one person share for the whole classroom, so one person at a time, or we could buddy up and you could share with a buddy.
Let's do the buddy thing. Buddy thing sounds nice.
All
Let's
right.
do that.
How many of you would like to share yours with the entire class? Raise your hand. Nobody? Really?
Why is that such a big surprise?
The other class did the same thing. So, all right. So here's what we'll do. You just simply buddy up with someone, and all right, we do have even numbers. So just buddy up with someone. When you buddy up, either mask up or talk through the fish tank.
The lovely plexiglass right here.
It's perfect.
You'll want to move. So, but buddy up, and then share, and then after you get a moment to share with a buddy, then we'll switch gears and we'll begin observing fossils
Wait.
from the fossil record. Now then up here on the screen, you see a new slide. You see we're going to look at fossil interpretations. What's going to happen is in just a moment, everyone's going to get one fossil sample. How many? One fossil
And a
sample.
half.
Oh no.
Now, not only that, you'll also get one field guide. Now, the field guides look like this. So you pick up one fossil sample and one field guide. Now, you're going to look at the fossil and then use the field guide to figure out what kind of fossil do you have in your hands. Now, I will also tell you about each fossil type. Now, you can see the field guide up here as well. A lot of people this morning were like, what's a trilobite? What's bryozoan? So I'll let you know what they are, okay? That way it's not just meaningless to you. But you try to identify them first. What we'll do is we'll rotate so everyone gets a chance to see all the different fossils. We'll spend some good quality time on this. It's kind of for fun. But as you look at the fossils, do number one. Identify the Arkansas fossil using this key. All these fossils came from Arkansas. I either found them or I purchased them, okay? So as you look at your fossil, figure out what it is. What am I looking at? And then at the end, we'll infer. We'll use our brain power to figure out, okay, what does this tell me about Arkansas's history?
It was covered in
Then also, could these fossils be evidence of a biblical flood? Interesting.
It kind of
Looks very lumpy.
It looks like the trace fossil.
Can you hold that one up so we can see it nice? All right, have you identified it yet?
No, not yet.
Okay.
Still looking and
Use your
reading.
key to try to identify it. All right, we'll let you guys see from home so you can participate as well. Here's our next one. Next fossil sample.
It's a bryozoan.
You think it's a
A
bryozoan?
Yeah.
Not quite. The bryozoan has crosshatches in it. This one is different. In fact, it's not on your sheet.
Okay.
It's coral. Ocean coral. All right. Ooh, you think you know what it is?
This one, trace fossil.
It is a trace fossil.
Yeah, and
You
it
got
almost looked like it's cut in half. I don't know if that's because it's just like, I don't know. Like I can
does,
see
doesn't
it being like done.
Yeah. Okay. Good. All right. So you guys at home are getting a chance to see this. All right. How about over here? What do you have?
I think it's a trilobite.
You think it's a trilobite? You are absolutely correct. A little aquatic bug. All right.
I think it's either, it kind of looks like this picture, the amnizoid,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't know what it could be. It could
Okay.
be a trace fossil.
Trace fossil. It's definitely a shell fossil.
Yeah.
So is it a brachiopod or an ammonoid? Check it out and tell me what you think. All right.
I have no idea what this is. I don't
No
see anything
idea?
like it.
Oh, look at the bottom right-hand corner of your, yeah, a little bit up. You can get that one. Keep looking. Okay. And what do you think you have here? Echinoid. Echinoid, excuse me. All right, that's like a little sand dollar from the ocean. All right, and we got yours, right?
Trace.
All right, you have a very interesting one. It is a giant pile. Hey, you guys at home, I have another pile. I'll show you another pile. She has a big pile. This one's a little one. Looks like something that you would find. Where's the camera? There it is. Looks like something you'd find in your litter box.
Ew.
That's because it is.
Touching that.
It's fossilized or petrified poo. That's what you had. But yours is a big one.
That's exactly right.
All right, so obviously we're having some fun examining fossils here. Now then, so at this point, everyone got to examine all those fossils. You got to identify them. Keep in mind, they're all from Arkansas. Now, can you infer anything about the history of our
That
state?
is disgusting.
Now, most of the fossils we found, the trilobite is aquatic, lives on the ocean floor. Echinoid, same thing. Starfish, bryozoan, that is an aquatic plant that lives in water. The nautiloid, that's a cephalopod that lives in the ocean. We had different shells, we had different trace fossils as well. Those were fun. We noticed there were a lot of aquatic creatures, right? So what can we infer from Earth's history? Arkansas. So the last thing we're doing in today's class is taking our quiz. It's over Noah's flood and geologic history. You do get to use your notebook and your binder.
Yeah.
Okay?
Is it hard?
No. If you've taken good notes, you'll do awesome.
Had we?
All right, for those of you joining us at home virtually, you will find this quiz attached in Google Classroom. Just complete it at home, send it to me, and I'll get that graded for you. Have a blessed day, guys.